Here we go.
Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2.
This is 2OF Entertainment. What could be more reprehensible than 2 old farts? 3 old farts featuring Dave and Steven and Greg Shapiro with funny ha-ha.
And here we are live. Who knew?
Funny ha-ha.
Funny ha.
We're so live. Look, I got my flags ready.
I know. Look at that. Hey, happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2025.
Happy Goyish New Year.
Happy to all you Goyim out there. Ours is in September, and it's like 57, whatever it is. So.
Yeah.
Because we don't, the Earth is only 6,000 years old, apparently. So who knew?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I thought it was billions.
Seems about right.
No, it's I read the book in the library now. It's a couple of thousand. That's it. We top out then,
It's like 15 minutes. It depends if you believe in the Thursday hypothesis, which is every day is Thursday. You just don't know it. Repeats itself.
Nothing wrong with that.
Have you heard about, was it maybe Stephen Fry was talking about this theory that the Dark Ages were not actually Dark Ages? They were, it was just, was it Charlemagne?
Okay.
Who was the big
They had
emperor?
electricity? Is that what you're saying?
Sorry?
They had electricity and street lighting?
Before the Enlightenment.
Before the Enlightenment.
Before electrification and before Enlightenment. But it's a theory that the Dark Ages were actually just skipped. It was just whoever was emperor at like 750 AD thought, I'd like to be emperor when it's 1000 AD. And
so we skipped to 250 years.
Yeah. So it was just flip.
There you go.
Let's just say not much happened.
Very good. No, they're good. We're happy. Well, it depends who you believe. If you believe like Graham Hancock books, and you look at some of the evidence that's out there, they think that there were advanced civilizations probably millions and millions of years ago. And then you have people that are talking
years ago.
Not 6,000. I'm sorry to upset the Mormons and most of the Christians, but I'm good with that. So, but it's just that there's like millions of years ago, and Graham Hancock's hypothesis is that somewhere along the line we lost something in our DNA where we have amnesia of all the technological marvels. Because when you start looking, like when they look at the stones at the pyramids around the world and on the grids and this and that and everything, they start going back and they start looking at underwater cities that are hundreds of thousands of years old. Everyone's like, it's it's like the Big Bang. I don't really believe. I have a real problem with that because you like, boom, we're here. No, I don't think so.
No.
The God thing, I'm going to go with the CIA's Gateway Project. It's called the Absolute. I'm okay with that to an extent, but I always go back to like I want to meet the aliens that came to Earth, if you will, and go, okay. You've been around for billions and billions of years. You have all this cool technology, but where did you come from? Because I'm assuming the aliens asked the same question, like, who created us? So somewhere along the line, I always joked there's a little Martian named Marvin that's like, 15 years old. And this is a science project. And when people die, they meet him and he's like, stop. Huh?
So the little Martian's called Marvin. He's Jewish as well. So
of course, he has to be Jewish. Well, we own everything. We have space lasers. Come on.
It's Marvin. Yeah, right. Who invented the space laser?
Yeah, I mean, you want to meet the aliens, but they don't seem to be particularly interested in meeting you, Stephen, because all this you're pumping all this stuff into the ether, going up to all the satellites back. If they're listening to what we're doing, they're not particularly interested in meeting you.
Can I tell you something? Every Thursday we have big poker night here. All the aliens, all 24 different species of them, from the reptiles to the mantis. We play poker, drink scotch, cigars. It's a wonderful time.
And every day is Thursday.
Yeah, we do. Come when you're in the States, you'll come visit. You'll play poker. It'll be very nice.
So what was the author you named, by the way?
Graham Hancock.
Graham Hancock. Okay.
Graham Hancock. Wait, Graham Hancock.
He's a conspiracy theorist. Don't worry about him.
Graham Hancock used to write for The Economist and the Financial Times. Really? I read his. I think I read his very first book back in 1990.
He was so good they let him go. That's how
they let him go. Well, no, he became an author. But I read his first book in 98 or 99 or 90. It was either 1999 or 2000. I read his first book.
Yeah.
He's got Netflix specials, and it's it's just an interesting hypothesis of what could be. It's kind of like the guy who did Chariot of the Gods. I remember reading that book back in the 70s when I was a kid. Right.
Yeah,
But,
the German
you know,
guy.
right.
Austrian.
When you look at a lot of stuff, you know, scientists just explain everything like, yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah. But then they find something and they're sort of like, it doesn't really fit into.
But he's back on the TV virtually every week now because he's on Ancient Aliens or whatever.
Ancient Aliens on HBO on History Channel,
Yeah, because they didn't have any Hitler movies to show us, so we're watching Ancient Aliens.
Sure.
So,
you know what's going to do? You know what really funny? All the UFO shows do really well. So we're staying on UFO for a little bit before we get to the elections and climate change with Greg.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, to be totally cynical, it's going to be United States is going to be an unidentified flying object when a certain Mr. Trump comes to power.
When Musk comes to power.
Well, Musk, Musk. Well, I'm looking forward to meeting him because he's going to come and invade the UK. That's what he's told him. So we're looking forward to that. Yeah.
Will Nigel be thrown under the bus officially?
He's gone, Nigel. He's mincemeat. He after having his head surgically removed from Mr. Musk's renal cavity, rectum, then he just said, I don't like you anymore. You're a dickhead, and you shouldn't be chairman of Reform. The other guy that you don't like.
This is Musk saying this to Nigel Farage.
Yeah, the weekend. Yeah, so
that's a pot calling the kettle black.
He's a persona non grata. So the gentleman who kind of got elbowed out by Farage is now what Mr. Musk says. Well, yeah, he's actually going to be a better leader than you are, Nigel. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'll see you when I come and invade the UK.
Wonder what how are Elon's businesses doing now that he's focused not on business but at governing?
There are. I have heard today there are a few prominent people, and this, of course, is going to bring him to the point of bankruptcy. There are a few prominent people in the UK that have cancelled their X account.
And given up their Teslas.
Yeah.
Well,
and there's SpaceX shares. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they're all driving Chinese electric cars in the UK.
BYD, baby, number one electric car company in the world. Yeah,
because they don't care. The chariots of the gods.
Chariot of the gods. Yeah.
The EV, Teslas are chariots of the tech gods. Yeah. All hail the tech gods. I sure hope the beneficent billionaires will save us.
That's right. But here's the best part: is Trump said a couple of weeks ago when we talked about this on Lost Dollar. Is that if you come in with $1 billion or more, they will streamline you through the process to do whatever you need to do in America.
Right.
And I called the guys at BYD and I go, you have $10 billion laying around. Come build a plant. Build it next to the Tesla plant. Show them how it's done. Because they said we could build a plant in a day and we'll have cars out in a week. I'm like, it's better than what the Teslas are doing. So let's go.
Yeah,
and Texas will welcome them.
Has he not kind of drawn the line somewhere? Because by saying that, if you got $1 billion to invest off $1 million, is it $1 billion to invest?
It's $1 billion US, real money. Then
we'll let you sort of roll in. I mean, that's like an open book to all the drug cartels, isn't it? I mean, they can come and open up restaurants everywhere.
Well, that's what we're hoping.
They've got $1 billion.
Yeah, they have lots of billions. Yeah. No, I think what he was hoping for is the article in The Economist. The guy was an economic professor, and I forgot from what university, was saying that Trump is very smart to say, I'm going to do all these tariffs. However, if you invest in our country, I won't do this. So if you're on BYD, I'm like, okay.
BYD, the Chinese, is that the biggest Chinese?
Yeah.
They're the biggest electric car manufacturer right now on the planet. They outsold Tesla like a ton. And their cars actually, from the reviews I've read and seen, when they compare them to a Tesla, are 10,000% better. The batteries last longer, performance, features, comfort. Yeah, we've talked about it. So actually, it's like, wow. Like it's very, very cool. So it's very good.
The batteries are great. It's just you haven't got anywhere to charge them up. Other than that, they're fine.
Well, you can charge them up in the States. We're okay with that. So
you'd have to have one hell of a cable to do that, though, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Go out and do that in the morning.
And they steal those cables.
And
they do. Yeah. Allegedly,
we have garages.
They were just
carports,
fishing.
garages. So,
But if you get a cable that's as big, if it goes across the Pacific Ocean,
that's a big cable. Then the Chinese are going to cut it.
To LA. That's hard to steal in one go.
Yeah, Chinese are going to cut it. They've been cutting all the telecommunication cables in the Middle East.
We don't know that.
Yes, we do. They found the ship with the thing. There was a whole thing in The Economist on Thursday about it. They're like,
the Russians have been doing it as well, and they go up and down the coast here.
Yeah.
I mean, God forbid that there would be no internet in Holland. What would happen then, Greg?
I cut the cable.
Imagine?
I signed up for new glass fiber cable service.
Wow.
Oh, with KPN?
Yeah, with Odido.
Oh, Odido, yeah.
All I know is that we started paying on the 2nd of January, and the installer hasn't shown up yet.
Wow, that's good.
Well,
that's great.
It'll be quick, but yeah.
You may have cable
at least it's T-Mobile and not KPN because.
Oh, is that so? Yeah. Because Odido is T-Mobile plus Tele2, I think, a Dutch startup.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
We'll see. That's one of those companies as well. I just wondered, were you on their marketing team when they came out with that funny name, Odio? They must have had a comedian in
Odido.
So what are you going to call this company? Odio.
No, it's from the Wizard of Oz, the original one. Odido. That's from the Wizard of Oz. That's
and for Simpsons fans, maybe don't name your company with "don't."
I'm not that old.
Or the dog from Garfield, Odie.
Odie.
Spelled the same way, basically. Yeah, there you go. Oh, so Greg, what do you think? In a week or so, the Orange Man takes over. He takes over as the Orange Man.
Yeah, looks like it. It's going to be so great. And so far, there's no gigs have been lined up for The Voice or whatever. But I mean, actually, the Dutch show that with Arjen Lubach, they hired me, for that Netherlands second video in 2017. Will there be another video for second inauguration? So far, no.
The
German show is on the air. What is that? The Heute show. And they talked about maybe if Trump wins, they're going to have to hire me with a subscription deal or something. Really? But so far, haven't heard from them either. Okay. And for me, for comedy, we'll see. I don't know. It's I think for all the non-Trump fans, it's head in the sand time. Right. And for Trump fans as well, I guess it's been, there's like big disputes now between the MAGA Trump fans and the, Doge
fans,
Doge fans of
HB1.
Of the billionaire class. So we'll see. I think we know who's going to win, but how gross will it get? And that could be very funny.
Well, climate change is now been thrown away. I mean, if you Citibank, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Citibank and I want to say Bank of America have left the UN banking climate change group. Like we're not going to do this.
Right. There's the 2030 goals.
They said screw that. ESG now, everybody's like, screw ESG, which I always thought was the dumbest thing in the world anyway. Okay. Nobody cares about climate. The COP29 countries are dropping out. America's kind of like, we're good. We're gonna, Trump's like, we're gonna do what we want.
Well, Trump is gonna drop out of the Paris Climate Accord immediately, right?
Oh yeah, and so we're gonna go back, and I joked about this Friday on Lost Dollar. I was like, so now we're just gonna pollute, and I'm thinking, and then I said, well, we've never really stopped. We just make it look good. Like the Chinese go, we're not polluting anymore. We put a scrubber on a chimney, and I'm like, yes, but it's Mrs. Ling's chimney at her house. They were more worried about the coal plant that you put a scrubber on. And they're like, oh, we didn't know that. We're going to need the instructions from IKEA. So I thought that was like, great. Now what?
Not a very good choice of words, actually, the word scrubber. You shouldn't say things like that. It's not pretty
How about double Dutch? How about double
No,
Dutch? Can I say double Dutch?
because scrubber is another word in the UK for prostitute. So they're actually what you said was they put a prostitute on the chimney.
You've never done that? Everybody's done that, I thought.
Okay,
I didn't know.
Well, maybe that's
a new euphemism for me.
I've never heard that. Yeah, scrubbers. Anytime, even in Europe, when I used to do a lot of
put a
stuff in
scrubber
green.
on my chimney.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, no, I've got to scrubber up my chimney. There you go.
There you go. But I'm just saying, when I've used scrubber has basically been used as the thing you put to prevent pollution. But now that I know what a scrubber is, book my trip to the UK. Here I come.
Well, you don't have to. It's because I think it's the Mayflower. Well, it'd be the X-flower. I think it's going the other way with Mr. Musk. You can jump on that one.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the Paris Climate Accord. The trends seem to be. I mean, Europe seems to be kind of plodding along with. Well, I mean, the Netherlands added enough renewables last year that I think it's official as of 2024 that for the first time, more than half of electricity generation in the Netherlands was based on renewable sources. So
that's right.
And the other half hasn't been connected yet. So that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's waiting for construction. It's the IKEA. Yeah,
the IKEA scrubbers.
But so I don't know. Is there? I think the anything positive side about climate stuff was that there are certain I don't know certain progress that is hard to roll back at this point. Or I think Stephen, you were also saying that if it's economically viable, and or cheaper, basically, then it's green for the planet, but mostly green for your wallet. In terms of greenbacks. And well, I mean, that's what I wanted to talk about this week was maybe some of these disruptive new like technologies coming along, mostly just with like plastics and stuff. So whether you believe in 2030 climate goals or the renewable energy transition or whatever, I think most people can agree that plastic and plastic pollution it'd be better if that went
away,
free floating all over the streets and then the waterways. But so I think I collected a couple of examples of that stuff. If you want to hear about that.
Yeah, of course we do.
Yeah.
Now here, I'll tell you an interesting fact that David taught us, or Michael taught us on Lost Dollar Friday, is that the cargo industry, the shipping cargo industry, is the largest plastic polluter in the world. I didn't know that.
Plastic. Yeah, why is that?
Why? No, it wasn't the plastic. It was just the CO2. That's the problem with the boats.
I'm sorry, plastic.
Yeah.
Well, I can imagine.
I'm going to go back. Yeah. So
I mean, someone showed a diagram on Instagram the other day of how much CO2 is produced from ships, tankers that are transporting fossil fuels. So if even just energy, electricity production or whatever.
Liquid gas is the biggest one because that comes from all over the planet.
Oh yeah,
including the US. So they ship it all across the
very much the US. I mean, and I get it. Since Ukraine invasion, and then Europe is looking toward the US, and Biden is like, let's scale up. They're talking about the carbon bomb on the Louisiana port, or that would be the huge LNG exporter, but it's not an option to not do that. So that's Anyway, well, so what was I looking at? Something today about this there's a sponge. These Chinese researchers back to the the BYD of plastic recycling. The stupid thing about plastic recycling is it's like since the 70s, apparently, and Earth Day started. I don't know. There's more consciousness. And again, Nixon started the EPA, so it was the Environmental Protection Agency. But so I think for whatever reason, there was more emphasis on recycling. And that's when the recycling boom started. Paper, metal, glass. They started with wow, we can't recycle all of it, but they worked it up to over 50%, and now it's pretty high. Plastic was the only substance where they started at like, well, if you take a ton of recycled plastic and you recycle it and you boil it down, then apparently 5% of that ton gets recycled, and the 95% still needs to be virgin plastic. So
wow.
So this is what I read in Washington Post, and so this writer, actually, this researcher who wrote a book on the subject, she said, actually, you could burn it, but at the moment, maybe landfill with proper like methane venting, it would be still with plastic. That's the best. But so what if there would be a disruptive technology to change that? And these, well, it's from a while ago, but I think there's British researchers who have, what is it? It's plastic. It's bioplastic,
right?
Which is based on bacteria. But anyway, it's basically the spores of the bacteria are built into the
plastic
fibers, and so it's good from when you order it on Prime till packaging to your front door. You can toss it in the garbage, and by the between your garbage can and the landfill, the spores pop out, and then the bacteria starts eating.
How do they know when to pop out and not pop out when I'm, I don't know, eating or drinking out of the bottle?
Yeah.
That's a
well, there was research done. I think MIT did it, and they've actually found something which will eat plastic.
Also, that's a big one. Yeah, there's
but of course, because that is such a Pandora's box. You talk about being worried about bird flu or another COVID.
Yeah.
If somebody puts a plastic eating virus into the world we live in, I mean,
it's bacteria, not virus.
That's right.
But
it would become a virus.
What could possibly go wrong?
What must be wrong?
But I don't know. Well, so that's one thing. But I mean, we can't have beer without bacteria. Bacteria's there's good bacteria.
You go.
I sure hope the beneficent bacteria will save us.
Oh my God!
Bacteria is like billionaires.
I know, right? You can't get enough of them. So, but the bad part about all of this,
I'm on the wrong side. Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Well, no, you're on the right side. You're an American. You're good.
Yeah.
But the bad part about all of this is since the Orange Man has come into power, well, not for a few more days, and his henchman Goebbels, Musk, is coming into power with him, and telling everybody what he thinks, and everybody just wants him to be quiet. Nobody seems to be talking anymore about the environment, really. If you think about it, like, I don't see any articles. All the articles I saw before the end of the year were all about like people dropping out of Paris, people dropping out of COP 28, 29, and 7, banks dropping out of the UN stuff. It was everything, nothing, and everyone's just worried about tariffs. And then you look at everything else Trump's doing. It's like crypto's taking off, the market's taking off.
Yeah,
this is it's like all about money, business, and I'm all for it. And I'm just like, but and I'm okay, because in 100 years I won't be here, as far as I know, unless technology does something great. Then I'll be here. So we'll 50-50 shot, right?
Steven's head.
My head will be in like the Simpson Bowl. But I mean, 100 years or 200 years from now, when you can't live here anymore, and I mean now, and they say we should terraform Mars, we should make Mars livable. Hey, I got an idea. And Neil Tyson Grayson said this on Bill Maher last year. Why don't we make Earth livable?
Right.
I'm just saying, and like, we have to go seriously, however many billion miles away to the little red planet.
Yeah.
There's a planet right here that we're all living on.
Right.
Yeah. Just a brain fart. Why don't we do something here?
Do you know why they're going to? Do you know why they're going to Mars?
Just a second.
No worries. Greg's going to Mars. This is what happened. He got so excited.
Yeah, or he's gone to buy Mars because he's hungry. He's got the munchies. He's gone out to get a Mars.
Okay.
But, sorry, I'm reading this book now.
All right, hold on. We're gonna show us the book.
Ta-da! Orbital, which won the Booker Prize, Booker Prize. Samantha Harvey, and it is a fictionalized account of the astronauts up on the International Space Station. But this gets back to your terraforming idea, and/or Neil deGrasse Tyson. I mean, space, other planets, outer space.
I'm okay with that.
Space wants to kill you. It's really good at it. Even if
But isn't there some sort of irony in this? Because they want to go to Mars, spend billions of dollars to go to Mars, to find out what could possibly happen to the Earth if it gets neglected like Mars got neglected.
Take a picture. It's a desert. Take a picture.
Where are your
Yeah.
Graham Hancock aliens now?
Yeah, I know, right?
Why did they leave
They
Mars?
left. They
Well,
left,
they're in government now, aren't they? The other thing is, I don't know if anybody noticed. Is it just me or my color filter on my telephone? But has Mr. Musk's hair, Mr. Trump's hair, changed from orange to grey? Have anybody noticed that?
Well, not. I mean, orange. Well, yeah, orange.
Yeah. Well, he had sort of like
blonde,
blondie orange.
Yeah.
And now he's gone sort of kind of got grey.
Well, yeah, Donnie's showing signs of age. That's.
And Donnie's an old guy. He's 80 years old now. So
he's older now than Biden was when Biden started as president.
And here's the best part. If he dies in office, J.D. Vance, I've never had sex with a couch, is the vice president, is the guy who now takes over. Yeah. And he can have sex with the couch in the Oval Office. So this is going to be
know what? Yeah, the couch could be the intern.
Yeah, I like it. That's a video there.
I was saying that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Poor J.D. Vance. Hi, I'm the senator from Ohio. I did not read my lips. I did not have sexual relations with that couch.
So, but with the furniture. It really is common. Which he did. We all know you did, allegedly. But
I mean, can we go back a second? I mean, because that was a part of my show. I was talking about disinformation, and we've been warned about deep fakes and algorithms, but the most successful form of disinformation was just a simple online lie that someone typed into Twitter X one day, which was what, like on a certain page of J.D. Vance's book, Hillbilly Elegy. He describes how he filled a plastic glove, a latex glove with Vaseline, and put it in between the cushions of a couch. And to be clear, this never happened. It was not in the book. It was a complete fabrication. But for whatever reason, America looked at this guy and was like, "Well, yeah, of course."
But he's good at that because he came out the weekend, J.D. Vance, and said, "Oh, the only party worth voting for in Germany in the upcoming elections are the neo-Nazis."
Yeah.
And
I think he called them the AFD, but yeah.
Well, potato. But what's interesting is that he said, and even people in areas that were totally anti-Nazi during the rise of the Nazis in the 1930s, those areas, Saxony and other places, they're all going to be voting for the neo-Nazis now.
Because you get a mess in the economy,
which of course is total fabrication. There is absolutely no research that holds that up. But now, of course, everybody believes that everybody in Germany is going to be voting for the Nazis.
I knew they were Nazis.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, Mr. Vance is to be honest, I think you're probably better off with Mr. D. Trump than you are with Vance because he's a real loose cannon.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Well, and on the 6th, which was yesterday, and this will air on the 8th, so 2 days ago, even though it's live today, they certified the election. They certified the election, and one of the comments in The Economist or the Financial Times this morning when I was reading it was, "Oh, look, we had a certified election without an insurrection." And I thought that was wow, and that was like front page news.
It's a misprint. It was a certified election without an erection. That's what it was.
So sorry, but they were like big Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
but I was just my point was that when he lost, it was like pitchforks and flames, and we're going to whatever.
Yeah,
and the Democrats, they're pussies though. The Democrats lost, and it's sort of like okay, and I'm like, and that's fine. It would have been, and I say this because just for my own mental masturbation, it would have been interesting to see if Trump lost. What would have happened yesterday? That would have been very interesting to see.
They said that January 6th was if a coup does not succeed, it is basically a dress rehearsal.
Right. So what would have happened yesterday then? Would we have stormed the Capitol again? Yeah. Would have been all the stuff? So now we've had.
My prediction is the next January 6th is going to be on the White House.
Yeah. Right.
With Donnie in there.
Oh, I know. And now we have this peaceful transfer of power, like gentlemen, not like animals. Now the question is, okay, now what? Now we have 4 years or 8 or 10 or 12 until whenever the king decides he's going to leave.
Right.
So now it's like, okay, you've made all these promises. You've got, and the funny part is you've got the South African vice president. The South African guy helping you, Musk. Yeah. And he's going down to the first buddy is going to minimize our government. But meanwhile, in his whatever department they're calling it, they're hiring people. So my joke is they're going to hire 300,000 or 400,000 people to make government more efficient by getting rid of right. So what are we going to do? Like, no one's really given a plan yet. Like I hear a lot of great things, and like his tariffs idea to scare people. I'm good. Buy our oil. We're going to do. I'm good with a lot of what he has to say because America's coming back to where we were after World War II. Like we have muscle now. We're big boys on the block again. We're not pacifists. And I'm okay with that. That helps.
In your own bathrooms.
That's fine.
You just think that. The rest of the world just thinks you're a bunch of.
No, I know the rest of the world does tremble. Listen, when Reagan came to power, when Carter, I love Jimmy Carter, but when Carter was president, the world basically looked at us like we were some sort of a joke, even though Carter did a lot internationally. When Reagan came to power, Reagan was like, I don't care. This is what and people were like worried that Reagan, because he was senile, was going to push the button at any time. I think with Trump, you're getting that kind of the Reagan, if you will, that Reagan mystique.
That would be a mighty positive spin.
I know. I'm trying to. They paid us. They paid us to be on the show. I'm trying to help. Because I have to take Goebbels' job apparently. But anyway, if they come in, I really want them to do something and think through it. My biggest concern is they don't think through anything, and we haven't discussed on this show. I think they go A, B, C, D, and that's it. They don't go E through Z. They don't go. If we do this,
you said Z.
I always say Z. Leader. I know. I'm not too much work over everywhere but America. But it's like they go A through D, like whether it's cut Social Security, Veterans Affairs, the military, whatever they want to do, right?
Yeah.
But I think they go A, B, C, D, and it's like that's a great idea. And then I don't think anybody's there going, excuse me, what about E through Z? And they're like, well, don't worry about that. Well, no, you have to because you just cut all the stuff. Right. What happens to this part? We're not worried about those people.
You don't have time for that. You don't have time, do you? Because politicians can only get to A to D because they've only got 4 years to do it most of the time.
Trump's going to have 12, 15, 20 years, I figure. I mean, the dictator's not leaving in 2008. Come on, let's be real.
We'll see. We'll see how much muscle America. I mean, you're all bloated and.
Here's one thing since Jimmy Carter died. Sorry, if I can go back.
Please.
There's one like unsung whatever. Jimmy Carter died, and of course you got like George Will talking about, well, I've been waiting to say all this crappy stuff about Jimmy Carter. Like you said, there's some positive things. But here is one positive thing, which I lived through Jimmy Carter and I didn't realize. But apparently when the Soviets invaded Afghanistan in 1979, which was on Carter's watch, huge black eye for the administration. But apparently the Carter and who was the Secretary of State, Vance, right?
Yeah. Vance.
Zbigniew Brzezinski. Anyway,
Cyrus Vance. It was Brzezinski was the National Security Advisor. I think Cyrus Vance was the Secretary of State.
Between the two of those guys, they used the Afghanistan moment to lean on NATO allies in Europe. And apparently that was the first time that European countries in NATO agreed to take nuclear weapons aimed at Soviets. And apparently Gorbachev himself said that the proximity of those nukes, the cruise missiles in Germany, that was a big reason that they folded, that for the fall of the Soviet Empire. And that happened on Carter's watch, which it also caused huge, protests in like
Europe,
But
in the UK
but I didn't
as well.
realize that Carter played hardball, and that was responsible for.
Well, wasn't it a good thing to do? To say, oh, we're not happy with the Russians invading Afghanistan. Let's give the Taliban lots of money and lots of weapons.
The Mujahideen.
Let them have a go at it. See, because they're all right. They're all right bunch of people.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Well,
with it?
actually, there's a book called Harry Wilson's War.
Oh yeah.
It's a great book. I read it. It's funny. I bought the book the day I bought it. CNN ran a banner on the bottom that Tom Hanks had bought the rights to the book.
Yeah.
And I started to leave because I had bought it that morning, and that afternoon as I was starting to read it, I saw that. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
The book is fascinating.
Yeah.
And the reason we lost the war, and the book says it, and even the movie does it.
Which war?
All the Afghan, when right.
Yeah.
We gave them everything, and they were all very excited for America, and America did everything to help them. They got the Soviets out, but what they didn't do was give them infrastructure. And when Harry went back and said, "Listen, we need to put in," I think it was like 30 million or 100 million more.
It's Charlie Wilson's War, isn't it?
Charlie Wilson, sorry, yes, Charlie Wilson.
Yeah, I don't know why.
When Charlie Wilson went back to them and said, "We need to give them another 100 million for infrastructure, and that will keep out the Taliban and this one and that one and blah blah blah." They were like, "No, we already got rid of the Soviets." And he's like, "No, that's not how you think.
Yeah,
you need to go to once again A through D.
We don't want to do nation building.
Right. It's like you go A through D, you forgot to go E through Z, and that's why I use that as an example all the time. The book is a fascinating read, but it's one of those things where you read it and it's just like, wow, we literally, if someone would have just like done the rest of the alphabet, all these issues we have in that region would be gone.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, no, we don't want to give them another 100 million. We gave them billions because it was war. Get rid of the Russians, do this, shoot things down, make things go boom. It wasn't, build hospitals, build roads, schools, infrastructure. It was like, no, as long as we can kill, we'll give you billions. 100.
But to get back to building on Mars versus fixing the Earth, I mean, it seems like that's what so many Americans wanted to do, was like, hey, we didn't want any new wars. We don't want to be spending money all over the world. We want to, have nation building at home. Right. And yet again, sorry, I think I read, they're saying put a time capsule on this month, in these last days before Orange Man takes over. And I didn't realize border crossings are down now to lower than when Trump left 4 years ago.
Everyone's already made it here.
Yeah, something about right. Yeah, there's no one left. The migrant trains, they all got in. But what else? There was another one of real economist stuff. Real wages are higher.
The stock market is up.
Stock market, of course.
Stock market's up. Crypto is up. Earnings,
I mean, that's largely because of Trump winning. I get it, but
it's the Trump bump. It's the Trump bump that we had back in 2016. Yeah. But once again, this time next year, let's see if we still have it. And it's not. And what the bad part about all of this is, negative or positive, whatever side you're on, makes no difference. Is that if it only is going to help a certain few people, right? It doesn't help the people that need it. Yeah. It doesn't matter if we discussed this on the show. Homeless in America is up 18% last year. 700,000 homeless that they can count, right? Which means that's the state of North Dakota today. Today in the Financial Times, they were talking about corporate bankruptcies. U.S. bankruptcies hit a 14-year high as interest rates take their toll. Yeah. So Trump has a lot to work with. Credit card default debt is higher than it has ever been since 2010. All of this stuff. Okay. Now, Trump can't say that's all Biden's fault or this is fault. No, it's all of your faults. Because from Obama to Trump to Biden to Trump again, none of you have done anything. Everyone, they did this. No. Yeah. Because you don't do anything sustainable. Right. You do it because you need the soundbite. You need it because you need to get the Afghan war. We got A through dead. Yay! And we don't do anything else.
Or bailing out Wall Street, but not bailing out Main Street. That was A through D, but not,
Well, the best one of that was too big to fail. And they bail out all these banks. Yeah. Then when Silicon Valley Bank went bust, in theory, that one should have been let to go. But because all the billionaires have their money there, all of them, they were like, we can't be. We'll be broke. We'll have no money. Yeah. And if they would have went, too bad. It's 250,000. We don't care. We're like, no, we'll bail you out. And then BNP came and then made a deal with the government and bought them. Interesting stuff. But once again, it's and I said this on the show, I just want to know where Donald Trump banks, because he didn't take Jamie Dimon's phone call when he called him from JP Morgan. So you know he's not banking at Chase.
No.
So I just need to know where he banks. That's where I'm going to put my money.
No, that'd be good. He's very lucky fellow.
Yes.
And you mentioned homelessness, and it's what 700,000.
700 plus. Yeah.
I'm doing a joke about this for the show. So my new show is called Part-Time Hypocrite, as well as Climate Good News, the show. But yeah, Part-Time Hypocrite is about, trying to be a vegetarian and, then doing it with the kids and failing. Another one.
Have you given up eating children? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, no, you should eat the children. There are so many people on the planet, but
they're tender.
It's all going to be one big bowl. Anyway, sorry. I looked up how many empty houses are there in America at any given time. It's more than 700,000.
Wow.
It's 25 million empty houses.
Really?
Well, it's also just because they're in between, being sold or whatever. But that's, I don't know what percentage. It's certainly not all 25 million. There are a lot of empty houses, and granted, there, a lot of them waiting to be torn down. But still, I was like, 25. I started the other way around. I was like, how many empty houses? 25 million. Oh, and then how many homeless people? I bet it's close to 25 million. Well, okay. Maybe not, maybe just 10%, 2.5 million. Oh, it's not even 1 million. Nationwide, still 700,000 people there, and it's very visible in the big cities, especially. But anyway.
but we don't do anything because Reagan did all those cutbacks, so we don't do anything to help them. And then people are like, "Oh, this is terrible. This is well, then help them."
Right? Yeah.
I'm figuring they're going to end up in internment camps at some point. I'm
figuring
Trump's going to be like the homeless and the immigrants that we're going to deport. Listen, you just take the homeless, you stick them with they won't know. I mean, it's kind of like that seems.
Well, they won't be homeless anymore, then, will they? That's
there you go.
How do we solve homelessness? Exactly.
And they get have a roof over their head. They get fed.
Maybe. Sorry, and it's difficult to buy. It's difficult to build a house in America because of fine environmental regulations, but just too much red tape and paperwork. But anyway, so this is my other example about disruptive technologies. There are 3D printers that can create houses. Have you seen these? But now the new thing is that you can rent one. So it's pricey, but it's cheaper than building your own house. So some dude who had some money to invest.
So you're just using the most polluting product on the planet, then cement, and you're going to
cement. Although there are other, there's a Dutch recycling firm now that has figured out how to recycle plastic, and they're not making virgin plastic, so they're not going to make new plastic bottles out of it. But they can make construction building materials and like cinder blocks or whatever. And so
60 Minutes did a story a few years back on the 3D printed house, and it showed it being made, and it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. And the guy said it cost them, I want to say 25 or 50,000 to build it. What they've done with the printing, and it was like I want to say 2,000 or 3,000 square feet. And he said, the printing, by the time you you do everything, you say it's 50 grand all in, because there's no real labor, because the thing that two guys do the printing and the layout and the plumber and everybody else comes in. So they're selling those for like 250 to 400,000. It was somewhere, I want to say in like Long Island or something, like the old, Kelly homes or whatever they were, that you go in a Levitt's home, like you buy a Levitt's home, that's your starter home. So back in the day. So these are like the Levitt homes. I was like, that's interesting. And then you have now some people that are making mega mansions with it. So I'm okay with that. My concern is like, I'm assuming it's sturdy, it's fireproof and all this other stuff, but I just want to make sure, everybody, because what's going to happen is if I buy one of these 3D printers, right? Greg, you want a house? Sure. $7 million. It's like, what? It's like, all of a sudden, it's like, because if they're supposed to make affordable, cheap housing, all of a sudden, oh, wait, I can mark it up. Like if I'm a builder, right? And it's like, it only cost me 50 grand all in. I can sell this house for $1 million.
It's another one of these technologies which has actually been held back by the construction industry themselves. They don't want cheap houses.
That's the problem with disruptive, yeah.
And the people, the other people that have all their wealth tied up in property banks, they're just going to.
This is why I'm telling you this stuff, so that when people get screwed and they realize, wait a minute, there was this cheaper alternative the whole time, then we do have the next January 6th aimed at or Musk's mansion, or just Mar-a-Lago, because that's where he's calling home these days.
Oh, I'm too scared to go to Mar-a-Lago because of all the robot dogs he's got, patrolling outside. There's some serious woof going off down there, I'll tell you.
The Doge. Which
I will tell you, when I used to live down there,
Donald's going doggy. That's that's
what he does with his dates.
Style.
But anyway, when I lived down there, you were back in the day before he became president, you could drive by Mar-a-lago, and it's a beautiful
drive-by is not the term you want.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You could take a
several times,
cruise drive by. Anyway, you could drive by it. And you're getting off and on the island.
Back and Biggie, you're all doing the drive by.
But getting off and on the island was simple. When he became president, the one bridge that was like there's a bridge and the thing tomorrow is like all of a sudden it became an issue. Like going to the island of Palm Beach now is like I'm good. Like it's not. I'm good. Like it's a pain now because of all the things. It becomes it only have 2 bridges, and then the rest of the the A1A, and it is a pain in the butt. But Mar-a-Lago is absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautiful property. I remember when he bought it, and he promised the lady when he bought it that he would restore it to its initial glory, and he did.
Okay.
And that was probably one of the best things he's done.
Yeah.
So I do give him credit for Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, it's very beautiful, Mar-a-Lago.
Every time I see pictures of it, I gotta say, like, oh, okay, that kind of looks classy.
Are you waiting for your dinner invite? That's.
I've been to Mar-a-Lago. I've been there. I don't need to go back. I'm good. Yeah, been there, done that.
We are going to wait until the entire property is underwater. Then it's going to be Mar under Lago, Mar sub Lago.
Yeah, that's why I keep worrying.
Under the lake.
Well, here's what's really funny: when the hurricanes come. That little strip of land, like, literally becomes, depending on how big, if it's like a 3 or a 4, and it really hits Palm Beach and not Miami or Broward, or goes up to Vero Beach. If it really hits Palm Beach proper, that whole little strip of A1A becomes a swimming pool. Yeah, which means Mar-a-Lago.
One big water trap.
It's basically because the intercoastal and the ocean just go. Because really, if you think about it, if your sea level there is like,
he'll have an answer for that. He'll say like all that all those tornadoes and everything. They all came out of the Mexican Sea, so they all came, and wiped it out.
Conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy. Yeah.
Democrats control the weather. When it hits red states, it's the Democrats.
There you go.
Right.
And when it hits blue states, it's God's will.
There you go. So, Greg, I know you have to go soon. So what's your prediction for whether it's climate change or the new technology or Trump or all of it, or if you want to do something from your new show, and we'll touch on where that's going to be. What's your prediction now for we'll just do 2025, because I think we can't get into 2026 yet. What do you think 2025 looks like?
I think it's going to be kind of a lot more of the same. It's going to feel like a mix of more of the same of like the Trump first term, and so much of 2024, which was campaigning, and it's going to be the PR machine turned on full blast. And it seems quiet right now, but it's the calm before the storm, I guess. And I'm pretty sure that so many things are going to go through the shredder, out the window, or they're going to try to rush things through A through D and then see the results are like, what? Oh, we didn't think that through. So they're going to need the PR machine to be on full blast. So that, as soon as someone says, hey, you're president, congratulations. What's your plan to bring down the prices at the grocery store? He's like, that's actually harder to do than we thought. What about we should have Canada? And like, now we're talking about that. So it's just going to be, the fire hose of.
So, Greg, who give us your another prediction then? Who do you predict that Mr. Trump will say it will be their fault that it's all gone tits up?
Nigel Farage, probably, because that's what Elon Musk said.
Yeah, that'll be Musk. He's gonna when it fails, the first P is gonna be the Musk.
When Trump falls out with Musk, it's gonna be messy.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the joke about the Russian premier. when he lost his power and a new premier came in, he gave him 2 letters. And he said, when the shit hits the fan, you open the first letter. And then, the second, he says, use your lot. 5 years into the premiere, he opens the first letter and he goes, blame everything on me. Oh, good, clever. So he blames everything on the guy that he proceeded. A few years later, something hits the fan again. And he opens the second letter and it says, write 2 letters. So the part of this is Trump, Musk, and all of them can't write any letters because they told everybody how terrible the Democrats were. And how lousy all the presidents have been from Washington until Donald. So now you can't blame anything on anybody. You now cannot write 2 letters.
The billionaires bought the election and now they have to own it.
And so now that's scary unto itself.
My prediction for 2025 is that the American political monk's ring that they're now all playing is going to end with lots of tears.
What does that mean in English?
You can Google the monk's ring, but I wouldn't do it until we finish the show.
No, I don't mean that. I'm just saying, what's that mean in English? Forgetting the monk's ring, it's going to end in tears. Like the presidency, the country, what? Like, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, well, the stance that they have intellectually with each other.
Oh, okay.
Is doomed to failure. So
cool. Greg, you have any positive news before we go on the climate side?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I just watched a kid injure himself out the window. It was hilarious.
Cool. Sorry. That.
Are you practicing for your show?
I'm sorry.
Practicing for your show
by the end of the year. One more thing. I just have an example about hydrophobic paper. Does anyone care? Sure.
What? I want to hear about it because this is going to be a great short.
There's this thing called hydrophobic paper. It's paper that hates water. But anyway, it could be a huge packaging revolution. And, you wouldn't need plastic anymore in your Amazon Prime delivery stuff.
Well, it's not very good. Not a very good advert for Amazon if they're using a paper that's repellent to water.
No,
because it's called Amazon.
Funny.
So.
Hopefully,
Greg, when does your new show start? Where are you touring? Where do the fans get to see you? That watch.
If you've watched all the way to the end, the news is I'm having a taping on Saturday, and I've got a taping of my previous show, Leaving Trumpland, and I'm not touring a whole lot of dates right now, but some of the stuff I've got on video hopefully will be coming onto YouTube, and you can check out my existing playlists of my previous 6 shows on the YouTube channel, which is YouTube/Greg Shapiro.
And there you go. And then wait a second, English or in Dutch?
That's all in English.
That's all in English.
Okay. There you go. All right. We'll put the link so everybody can find it. And there you go.
All right, baby.
My friend, it's always good to see you. We will see you next month.
Time.
Yes, we love it. Everybody have a happy, healthy. Don't forget to subscribe and like. And Mr. Shapiro will be back with us next month. And hopefully America's still here. And there you go. Cheers, everybody.